Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We got a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
I would
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off sale.
Is this a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
And hello to you, and hello to you, and hello to you, and hello to everybody. Hello to the world. Welcome to another episode of Your Dark Companion. We are glad to have you with us here today. This is the 23rd of September, I believe. And I do know it's episode 156 of Your Dark Companion. So there, you're up to date. Now, we are coming to you today from Dudley's. Dudley's is a new sports bar that is located on Henderson in the swinging Knox Henderson area. It's a relatively new place. We are inside the back hovel where the cool people get to go. Where only the cool people or only those who know, or I don't know, maybe there's some sort of password, or maybe there's some sort of code or some such that makes its way out there in ways that none of us can possibly even comprehend, let alone understand. But that's where we are today. So if you'd like to drop by Dudley's, you can try and get in here and watch this if you want. I don't know what kind of success you're going to have, but you can make the effort. Now, I'm very excited about this today because I'm not exactly sure how we're going to make this work, but we'll figure it out because we have a guy here today that I've known for a long time, and he is the kind of guy that anybody can carry on a conversation with. And that conversation is going to last for a long time because he's just that way. I mean, he draws you in, and the next thing you know, you're listening to him talk about stuff that you never thought you'd be talking to anybody about.
Backroads to Bandera, for instance.
That's right,
so.
Backroads to Bandera.
Just a few minutes ago.
Exactly.
Now, you hear him doing all manner of Texas sports these days, and when I say Texas, I mean the university. He does football. He does basketball. You do baseball, right? Anything else?
Women's basketball, too.
Women's basketball, too. Okay, he's doing all of that. He is the great Craig Way.
Hey, it's great to be here. I consider it highly honorable to have been asked to join you because I'm a fan of the program. I love making it back to the Metroplex. I lived here for 18 years. I matriculated through at the University of North Texas, so it's always great to be. And I'm up here every Friday night during the fall anyway due to the avocation, the other vocation of high school football. So, yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you. But wait, there's more.
Uh-oh.
Let's introduce the other end of this three-pronged confluence today.
He's like, where do I begin on this one? How do I describe that?
Well, I don't know how to describe that. I'm going to let you describe that because in this case, that is you. You saw her on Bally, probably Fox.
FanDuel.
Yeah, all of the names
Yes.
that we once were.
Everything that channel, which formerly was known and started out as HSE, everything that has matriculated to and through since then, she has been a part of. She is the great Erin Hartigan.
Thrilled to be. I was told I'm filling in for groups, which I'm not even going to attempt. Like those are large shoes to fill, right?
They are.
So how would you advise I move forward in his role today? I mean, that's a pretty powerful one here on YDC.
On this show, when people ask me how they should be, I give them 3 letters.
Because I can't be groups.
No, you can't be Grooves. Just why be why.
Oh.
You be you.
Love it. I can do that.
That is all we want here today. That's all I ever want.
You know what? One of the ultimate examples of Erin being Erin.
Oh no.
I see you two do know each other, right?
Oh yeah.
We go back a ways. We went to high school together.
We're working a lot of high school football together. She's also really become real chummy with my wife, and my wife with her. Now I've been married 3 years. And Linda and I got married at Myrtle Beach at the Dunes Golf Club, and she made it a point to fly to Myrtle Beach to come for the wedding. So she did, and we had this nice reception and everything, and it was one of those destination wedding things, Ryan, and we had 75 people show up, and it was nice. But the vast majority of the people, especially the guys, walked away from was who was the tall, willowy blonde in the bright green pistachio-colored
trying
dress.
To dance at your wedding, attempting to dance. I was dancing with the kids.
Yeah,
I was
my
grandkids
and all the other stuff.
I was having a blast.
Yeah, so she was she was the belle of the ball in a lot of ways.
Was this more in a, shall we say, curious sort of way, or?
Well, the best was when we found out Ashley Pickle, who is also one of our Texas high school football mates. She and I found out the bar was not serving shots, so we called in reinforcement. The bride, of course.
Yeah, so there was an open bar thing, but they were not really wanting to just hand out shots.
Right.
So they mentioned something to Linda, and here she is walking up in her wedding dress. She walks to the, but what seems to be the issue here? And he says, well.
These degenerates want shots.
And he said, I can't. The bartender said, I really can't. She said, listen, I want 4 tequila neat.
That's what you call reinforcement. That's what you call reinforcement. You can't tell the bride no on her day. So
So 4 tequila neat were poured out, and she and Pickle
But Linda immediately became our favorite way. She is most definitely our new favorite way.
When you see the woman in her bride's dress throwing back a shot with the rest of you, you have to become a fan. So that's how
that is great.
But yes, we've known each other.
We do have a little history, yeah.
We've known each other a while. You and I have known each other a long, long time.
Yes.
It goes back, I was telling Erin, it goes back to our days in what you correctly dubbed the back of the bus, which was the auxiliary press box at Old Arlington Stadium. You, for all of your pioneering work that you've done in this market and how you and your group, but your vision, which you, I think I read, hatched while in the back of the bus for what you would do with sports radio, how you revolutionized sports radio, not only in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex being the first all sports, but across the country in the way it was revolutionized. All of that, that came while being up there in that auxiliary press box, right?
Yeah, the template for it was pretty much conceived and actually hatched up there. Now, taking that template and getting something done with it was a whole nother thing. But
you have to have a dream and a vision first, and you have that.
Yeah.
Just like, and I had a dream and a vision for what could be done with high school football in terms of making it kind of like a SportsCenter of high school football. And John Heike had that dream and vision as well at Fox Southwest, and our old producer of the high school scoreboard or the high school extra show, Jeff Watts. We all kind of shared this dream about how it could be like SportsCenter for high school football, and it ultimately evolved into that. And Erin was a big part of it, and Greg Tepper was a big part of it, and like I said, John Heike and all the people were at the time, and so that's it. Kind of, but it begins from a dream, just like yours did.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And that somewhere is just with the germ of an idea. Now, I'm interested in this because, I always compare the way we did it to the way others do this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
do you remember the first conversation you had with somebody about, getting this thing off the ground and getting it to where you thought it should be?
I do.
Who was that with?
That was with Jeff Watts, who was the producer of and he initiated the conversation. He asked me to fill in for, remember Tim Matthews?
Oh, yeah.
Asked me to fill in for Tim Matthews on a locally produced Channel 11 show called McDonald's High School Roundup. And Jeff, they would do segment, stop, 3 highlights, stop, game, stop. So what they did was they handed me the highlight sheets, and I went into, and they had this little garage studio in Grand Prairie, and that's where we shot it. And they said, okay, just start going. So I started going and said, well, South Grand Prairie taking on Garland and blah, 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 blah. I said, meanwhile, Carter was taking on Kimball. And I get about 4 segments into it, and they go, stop. And I went, what did I do wrong? Nothing. We need to stop. So it was like, and so when it was over, Jeff walked over and he goes, can you do this some more? And I said, well, yeah, I guess. And he said, I got to be honest with you. This was his side hustle. His main deal was he had an office janitorial service. And on Friday nights, he used to say, I'm cleaning potties with my 2-year-old strapped on my back, listening to you do the KRLD high school scoreboard, saying, there's got to be a way to take this to television. So he had a vision, and then we all just kind of mixed it around together, and that's how it happened.
Is this the same Jeff Watts that owns all the trucks?
That's him.
Yep.
He didn't have all those trucks back then.
He would clean with his child strapped to his back?
He's in his backpack while he's mopping a floor in an office.
I'm slacking in Parenthood then. That might be coming, though. I don't know.
So that's how that began.
That's amazing. I don't know if I've ever met Jeff Watts, but if I have a whole new level of respect for him now. I look at him in a completely different way.
He went from doing color tile videos and fishing shows to that, building the high school football and the games that would air on Channel 33 and all that sort of stuff with Doogie and all of that. So he built it from that. He's recently retired, but he really did an awful lot.
All right, so there's your backstory. There's mine. What about yours, Erin?
Gosh, my backstory.
Miss Nebraska.
Yeah. How did you wind up here? First of all, where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska. I played softball at West Texas A&M out in Amarillo Canyon. Are you familiar with the panhandle of Texas?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Greatness of Palo Duro Canyon.
Allsups, what up? We need one in the Metroplex. They had the best burritos.
Can you get that bean burrito?
Oh, my gosh, especially early in the morning. No. I played softball there for 4 years, studied broadcast journalism, and I actually, out of college, I covered college football recruiting, which at the time was like, that's a thing. Like, people care about where kids are being recruited and what, and it's blown up since, right? I mean, now it's a very different
realm. It's an industry now.
Come to find out, they kind of did care.
I would hate to be covering it today, just with all the money being thrown around. It's, it's dirtied the game a little bit, but it was great when it was kind of my start. And it allowed me to, get in with high school coaches across the state and kind of begin building relationships. And I would go on Fox Sports Southwest High School Spotlight with Rick Rhyner on Sundays to talk recruiting. I went on Big 12 Showcase with Emily Jones to talk recruiting. I was kind of like, hey, if you need anyone who knows, if you need a recruiting nut, I'm your girl, and no one else cared. So they're like, all right, we'll bring her on. She can vomit a few things and then we'll call it a segment. No, I don't know. And I don't know if you guys, kind of relate to this, but in this industry, and I tell college kids and young kids this often, you never know who's watching or listening. And someone happened to be watching.
Believe me, I can relate.
You can't, you get it. And it's the coordinating producer, Dave Evans, happened to be in that day, really liked what I brought to the table. He's like, how would you like to be part of our high school coverage? And from 2013 on, I co-hosted the Friday nights with Rick Rhyner and Greg Tepper and Craig. And so I think that's why this year, when the network kind of disbanded, it was a halt that I wasn't expecting. But are we ever really expecting, in this industry especially, Coincidentally, it happened when I was on maternity leave. The network kind of, so it was funny because friends and family were like, "Oh, so when do you have to go back to work?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess
question.
I guess I can take as much time as I want." And it's honestly been the best thing. Motherhood has like slowed. I don't know if parenthood slowed you. No, who am I kidding? These two never slow down. Parenthood has slowed me down quite a bit, and I've enjoyed just like being in this season of life. So I'm happy to be here with you two.
Now, grandparenthood has slowed me down.
Okay.
Some.
Okay.
Not much, but some.
What's your name? What's your like grandpa?
She's asking this because she knows my name. She knows my grandfather.
I always like knowing, like, what do they call you?
I am Pops.
Pops. That's
Yes.
strong. That's strong.
I gave her mother, my daughter, the option to name me. I would be whatever she wanted me to be. And she said she wanted me to be Pops.
Oh.
Because that's something that she used to call me from time to time when she was a little girl, mostly when she wanted something.
Yeah. Right.
Now the grandkid gets anything they want. I mean,
Oh,
now
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's without question.
It's not even a discussion.
Yeah, I walk into the house, Boompa! You know,
Yeah, you got to tell them the origin behind your name, Boompa.
Well,
no one understood when I called you that on air, by the way.
Yeah, well, my father wanted my kids, his grandkids, to call him that, and I was like, why? And he said, it's from the Jimmy Stewart movie, Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation. Why does he keep calling me Boompa? You know, that's what it actually started from, I guess. So anyway, that's how I became Boompa.
Yeah. So we shared the desk together for gosh, over a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. The industry's evolving. I mean, look at you. You were on the ticket for how long? How many years?
26.
Okay. So and now you're podcasting. Like, did you ever think you would make a pivot like that at this point in your career?
Back then, no. But once I got out of the game and started wanting something to do, seemed very natural.
At the time that you got out of the game, did you think that there's going to come a point where I'm going to want it? Because I remember the famous walk-off that you did, the famous, I'm out of here type of thing. It was really well done, by the way.
Thank you.
But I wondered in watching you, knowing how you had traversed your professional existence, I wondered, is it going to happen where he's going to want to, if not get back in the game, have some sort of feel for it some other way? And you found another avenue.
Yeah, and as things turned out, both of those things happened. I got back into the game for a very ill-fated short spell, but then wound up doing this, and I like this. This is good.
You know, life is full of reinvention.
Yeah, it is, and I was very, very lucky during my time in the game because I got to go around and got to meet and make friends with a very vast array of very fascinating people like yourselves. And I always thought, man, I'd really like to be in a situation where I could get those people to tell their stories. But you can't do that in radio, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you work at a radio station, you do something else, and I work at a radio station, and never the twain shall meet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got breaks and you got sponsors.
Oh, yeah, you got breaks, you got sponsors, you got commercials, you got all that stuff. But here you got a nice long form, you got a nice clean tablet to work on, and it can go wherever you want. I think that's kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah, I think, and you might not necessarily have to adhere to any kind of a dress code. I love his Anaheim Amigos T-shirt from the ABA expansion year of 67, 68. I grew up in North Carolina. I was a Carolina Cougars fan there, so I have love for the long-lost days of the ABA.
Yes, this is ABA stuff we're talking about, folks.
I feel overdressed. I'm going to come in a T-shirt next time, and I'm just going to, chill.
Cool.
I also feel like I joked with them before coming on, I'm sitting here with two of the wisest men on this planet with so much, a vast array of experience and stories for days. I feel like I need to just be sitting on the floor, just listening to you two. I'm curious to know so much about the two of you. I just want to sit back and enjoy.
I would only say this to you: don't confuse the ability to carry on a conversation with intelligence, okay? Because there's lots of people who can talk and talk ad nauseum and all that kind of stuff.
Reiner's
Might
smiling,
not necessarily mean they're that intelligent. In his case, that's true, but that he is. But it isn't always the case in our industry. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally would agree.
We've met people like
Oh,
that
yes.
along the way.
Many people can talk. Show me the man that can make sense.
When did you two cross paths? And what was your initial impression of one another?
Well,
I want to know what you thought of a young Craig Way coming fresh out of
Well,
North Texas.
I will tell you this. The first time I ever heard Mike Rhyner, I moved to Texas from North Carolina in December of 1978. And shortly thereafter, sometime in 79 or whatever, I'm listening to the Morning Zoo, who had the big hit show LaBella and Rhodey, and they were going, John LaBella and John Rhodey. And then they said, let's get a sports update from Mike Rhyner. And you'd hear the sound effect, duck, 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 like running up the steps. And then Mike delivers this great sportscast where he's talking about Rangers or, whatever's or Cowboys or whatever. And they get done, and LaBella turns to Rhodey. What do you think? Rhodey's like, I didn't think he was very good. I kick him down the steps. Then you hear this, with this sound effect going like they kicked him down the steps. They used to do that to you from time to time.
From time to time.
But they appreciate that. That's
Were you
the
pretty
first
new?
time.
Were you pretty new?
Oh,
okay.
totally.
How old are we talking? Yeah, when was this in your career?
This would have been in probably the very early 80s.
80, 80, 81, right in there.
Yeah, that was my first radio gig, I actually had another function that I served with him. I was their producer on the morning show, which basically consisted of writing John Rhodey's news stories, and that was really about it, because whatever production LaBella did, he wouldn't let me touch that.
It was his own world.
Yeah, he wanted to do that himself, and that was my first real job in radio, producing the LaBella and Rhodey morning show.
And it was a good show. It was a very good show.
Little did they know who you'd become. That's why you're always nice to the young ones, the newbies, right? Look who you became.
I try to be.
You always are.
But we got to know each other in days when I was working at KRLD. And we were up in the press box in Arlington, like I said, the old back of the bus days up there. And the reason why he dubbed it the back of the bus was because you had the main press box, which wasn't that large anyway at Arlington Stadium, but they only had room for, as Brad Sham liked to call them, the ink-stained wretches. Actually, he got that from Blackie Sherrod.
Yes.
The ink-stained wretches, which would be beat writers like Phil Rogers and Tracy Ringlesby and Jim Reeves.
Of course, the great Jerry Fraley.
And then the columnist, Randy Galloway, would be in there. So you would have that, and there was a room for them, but for the local radio and television reporters and personalities, we were in the auxiliary press box, which was down the right field line. And that's where we were sitting the night that O.W. McDowell hit for the cycle.
Yes.
And so that was, we were in the back of the bus, down the right field
line.
The
Rangers constructed this big building down the right field line. And I don't know this, but I think the idea was to sell suites in it.
Yep.
And that never really materialized too much.
So it was a place to stuff the excess media.
Yeah.
What did Brad call him again?
The ink-stained wretches were and then the radio people were talking dogs. For years, Brad had a license plate was TLK Dog. Because Blackie Sherrod had bestowed that upon him. The late, great Blackie Sherrod said, you guys are talking dogs. Talking dogs were radio or TV personalities. Ink-stained wretches were the writers.
Okay. Do you remember when you first kind of caught a glimpse of Craig fresh out of UNT?
I don't remember the first time, but probably in the course of going to games, probably something he said or a conversation that I was eavesdropping on with him and somebody else got my attention. And I thought, okay, this is a guy that has something. Let's go down there and sit next to him, talk to him, and see what we think. And I did, and the rest is history. I just left thinking, man.
He would ask.
He worked with George Dunham and all.
George Dunham and Craig Miller were good friends of mine and followed me at North Texas. George is godfather to my oldest child. So George did color with me on the KRLD High School Game of the Week for several years. Mm-hmm. We did. I remember we had a new guy come in as the program director, and he called me in and said, "We've got a kill off this high school game of the week. And I said, why? And he said, it doesn't belong on a 50,000 watt major market station. I said, well, we have $250,000 in sponsorship. And he goes, okay, continue. And
Money talks.
so it went on for another couple of years as we did. But, yeah, I was friends with all those guys. And then when I moved to Morning Drive, then first George and then later Craig came in, and they were in the back of the bus with you. And it was with you guys and Grego and all the other group that this whole thing really started to germinate and take root.
Yeah, the back of the bus is where it was built.
Yeah.
I mean, all the pieces were put in place up there or all the pieces appeared, let's say, up there in the back of the bus. And the idea was to put them together, find something to do with them. And we did. And you know the rest of that story.
Yeah, well, it was amazing.
Who
and
was
like
the
I said,
one that shredded you? One of your first high school reports. Was it Sham?
No. Oh no, I know what you're. Brad and I have talked about this before. There was a story. There was an athlete and she was at Roosevelt High School, and her name was Christy Gaines. She became an Olympian, but she was winning the Gatorade High School Athlete of the Year award. Brad, with Chuck Cooperstein and me and Brian Briscoe on staff, would sometimes assign different things to us. Sometimes he would just call in and go, he'd been reading the agate that morning in the papers. Have you called about this minor league bowling team? We used to call it the Reign of Terror, when Brad would call in and say, you need to do these features. And we would do features. And he was so forward-thinking about it. And he said, there's an athlete who's getting this award, and I'd heard about it. And he said, I want you to go down to the press conference at the Anatole, cover that, come back, and put me together a little thing with sound bites and your voice on it, blah, 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 a little 2-3 minute thing. So I go down there. Well, the press conference started late. Didn't start till 4:30. And you remember, SportsCenter started at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
So by the time I got back, it was about 5:35, 5:40. And I had 20 minutes to put this together. So I'm going, and I'm slamming it together. And Brad says to me, I'm going to do 15. He would do the headlines for the first 15 minutes. And he said, I'm going to do the headlines. Get me that report before the headlines are done, because then it's open lines for people to call in. So I'm slamming things. Now that soundbite doesn't sound good. This one here, and I'm going in and blah, blah, blah. And time's ticking, and I can see it. And so then the show starts at 6. I know I've got about 10 minutes to finish it. And I'm still slamming it together, and it's not recording right and this and that.
You got to write it and voice it.
Write it and voice it and edit it.
Yeah.
Right?
Voice it and edit it. And Brad's like popping this intercom thing to me like, you going to get this thing done? So I slam it, and I get it together. It's like that scene in the movie Broadcast News where Holly Hunter's running down the hall, Bobby, running into the file cabinets. And I run in there, and I hand it to him as another report's playing, and he looks at me, and it's about 6:13, and he goes, maybe you can live like that, but I can't. So he takes it. I slink back to the edit station, and I just feel awful. I feel it. And I thought, I'm going to listen, make sure I didn't skip an edit. And blah, blah, blah. And a DISD athlete earns a special award. KRLD's Craig Way has the report. And it fires it off, and it goes, and it. Actually, I thought it sounded pretty good. It had a voice on it and had all these different people, and it gets done. And he goes, all right.
You can see Sham, can't you?
Oh, yeah. So then it ends, and then Brad pitches a break, and he goes, coming up, we'll take your calls next on KRLD. Pitches the break. And I'm just sitting there. Okay. And then on the intercom here, Craig, come in here. And I thought, oh he's going to barbecue me again. And I walk in there, and he hands me the piece, and he goes, save this. It's going to win a Katie Award. And it did.
That's one of my all-time favorite stories.
So it was that type of instruction and leadership that he had for all of us that made us better at what we did. That was a big part of it. That was his leadership off that. That's why he and the late Bill Mercer are my two broadcast mentors. I learned so much from both of them that I crafted into my daily life.
I think that's why
a big part of it.
One of my favorite stories of yours is because you can see how that's shaped you today. I mean, but everyone. That's what I've learned in this business. Everyone operates differently.
Sure.
Like you were literally a robot. We were joking about it with Rhyner before the show. I mean, you were nonstop and you can do something last minute. It's like Emmy Award winning. Like, I can't operate like that. So I try to learn from you, but then I realized, you know what? Like, we are just two totally different people. But I think that's why it worked, our show, because we each brought something different to the table, right?
Absolutely. Your preparation was always non-pareil. You always had great prep on that, and I always tell people, your preparation is a big part of what you do. And you know this from your years of being the voice of the Rockwall Yellow Jackets.
Yes, sir.
That your preparation for the broadcast is paramount. You really have to have that. And then
Actually, it was the Terrell Tigers, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it was Terrell Tigers. Yeah, that's right. That's
Rockwall
right.
just had a pretty big win.
Yeah, they did.
Last week,
But you're right. Terrell Tigers
You
there.
also forgot the Cleveland Yellow Jackets.
And the Cleveland Yellow Jackets, too.
That's right.
You.
That's right. See, so
Swiss
a lot of this
nice.
is rooted in what Texas high school football is all about: community, family, and football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You told that story a second ago, and I hadn't thought of it in years, but I have heard you tell the story with the famous Brad Sham quote.
Maybe you can
Many
live,
times.
Maybe you can live like that, but I
can't.
And there was lightning in the man's eyes. I'm here to tell you, and I felt about that tall.
I would not want to be on the receiving end of those eyes.
But he always had a great vision for and great ear for what sounded good, and by the way, the other side of that. If I did a feature, or if Chuck did a feature, or Brian did a feature that he thought was less than what it should have been, he'd let us know. You got that's a sloppy edit. You need to, why would you say this about that? He taught me.
Yeah.
I learned different things from him and Bill Mercer about play-by-play. One thing Brad taught me was try to stay away from saying the words near and far. Near side of the field, far side of the field. People who are listening on radio might have a hard time envisioning near and far. If you say left and right, you can kind of envision that in your mind. That's why I always say at the start, Longhorns will move left to right, north to south, as you picture it in your mind's eye across your radio dial. Well, nobody dials a radio anymore, but you can envision it looking from left to right. So, we all learn things over time.
We do. Tell us about some of your mentor experiences.
I feel like I need to apologize because I'm just like stepping all over you and your show here today. I'm not being a very good Groobs today. Groobs kind of like helps carry.
There's only one Groobs. You be you.
That's true. No, we love Groove. I miss having Groobs in my ear at the studio. He's, it's like he was like part of it too.
Yes.
That's what I love. I think about this industry is that like when you really step back and you examine everyone's role in making it run. Like we were sitting at the desk, we were the least important people, really. Like if
no
you
doubt.
think, to get us on the air, I just have such an admiration for what everyone did behind the camera. They just don't get the credit.
No,
right?
they don't get the credit.
So
but there are so many of them, and they do so much, and they're so important, and so much part of the finished product. Yet the people on the other side, when they think of the finished product, they think of you, and only you.
Yeah. Like Ashley getting this set up in like an hour today.
Yeah.
I mean.
And I always try to include her. I try to tell everybody how great she is.
She is. She's wonderful. She worked at Fox with us.
I love you too, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, this is one big small world, really, if you think about it. The number of paths that cross. We've been Facebook friends for years, and I think like we finally met in person today, but I feel like I've known
that.
You know what? I feel like I've known you because what you do so well on the air is open yourself to viewers, to get to know you're so open and honest and vulnerable that you kind of let us in. That's a skill that you either have or you don't.
He was
There are many people who would strongly disagree with all that, but I appreciate it.
No, you did, and what you would do is you would open yourself, and you didn't give a damn what they thought, but you would open yourself to people. So that's fair. If somebody wanted to listen to you or watch this and then draw their own conclusions, you've always been great with all that. Same thing in your days in the past.
Yep.
Yeah, you form your own opinion, all that. It's not going to change or ruin my world, but you're welcome to your own opinion about it. And I think in a society where we live today, which has so much divisiveness, it's good to respect opinion.
And believe me, I've listened to a lot of radio. I mean, it's really anyone on air, whether it's radio waves, television, streaming now platforms. You can separate the ones that are just talking at you and the ones that are talking to you, where you feel like you're just sitting right there next to them. That's why I told you, like, I miss the free, because I miss, like, you and Jeff and Julie and Danny. I mean, like, there would be, like, times I'm driving home from work or wherever, you know, and I'm listening to y'all, and I'm like, I would be laughing out loud in my car alone. And there were so many times I thought, like, I need to, like, I'm big on, like, vocalizing. If someone has, like, a gift or a strength that I admire, or, like, they make an impact on me, like, whatever it may be, I'm big on, like, vocalizing that, like, letting them know that, right? Because you don't know if they need to hear it or not. But I'm like, I don't know if Jeff's tuning in, but there were so many times he would have me laughing out loud in my car, and I'm just like, I need to let him know. He's genuinely, like, one of the most, like, funny guys I've ever listened to, you know, and he was just being him.
Oh, he was an amazing.
I'm like, you're hilarious.
He's an amazing cat. He really is.
And I'm like, I should have let him know that. I always let Julie know how awesome she is. She knows, though. Julie knows. She's awesome. But you guys had a good thing going, and so I enjoyed that as a listener. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Well,
you know,
that's very meaningful coming from you. I hear a lot from people all the time that they thought it was good and they were disappointed when it went away, but there are certain things that are just out of our control here. All right, we got to do this. You're telling me we got to do this? You're telling me? Okay, all right then. This is Craig Way. She is Erin Hartigan. I'm Mike Rhyner. This is your dark companion. And right now, it is time for the dreaded and feared mid-show read, which is where I do a live spot. Now, the live spot today is not for me to read it off the teleprompter the way I normally do. Instead, I'm just going to have to wing it. So, all that said, who do we have here today? Who do we have? Oh, yes. All right, let me tell you about the House of Healing. Now, there are a lot of people roaming around out there who are in pain of some kind of physical pain. Maybe you got a bum knee. Maybe you got a shoulder that's going wrong. You know, this, that, whatever it may be. Maybe it's keeping you up at night. Maybe this pain is so bad that you can't sleep at night. Well, you need a little something to help you out here. And the CBD House of Healing is here for that purpose and only that purpose. At the CBD House of Healing, they've got stuff that can help you out. Now, you may be thinking, okay, I'm going to go in there and get some gummies. I'm going to go in there and get some pot stuff and everything like that. No, there's more to it than that. If you are in pain, you need to go in there and talk to their owner. She is also a registered nurse, and she is very, very good about helping people out who are in pain. And she's very, very good about getting you out of that pain. So what you need to do is go by there and tell her what's going on. She will know what to do about it. The House of Healing is located in the northeast quadrant of the burgeoning intersection of Northwest Highway and Plano Road. So go in there and tell them you heard about it from us here on Your Dark Companion and get whatever is wrong fixed at the House of Healing. All right, now in here today,
Eric Friedline.
Eric?
Yes, sir.
And what is your situation here at Dudley's?
I'm a partner in the business and the executive chef.
Partner in the business and the executive chef.
Yes, sir.
Well, since you're a partner in the business, I will tell you, this is a cool place.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
This is a neat place you guys have.
Thank you very much.
And it is located on Henderson, right off of Central Expressway, just east of Central Expressway.
Yes, sir.
Go to that exit, turn right on Henderson, and look to your right, and you will see it. It's not exactly on the corner, but it's right there.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And you guys have been around for how long now?
We're going into our 4th week right now here at this location. We have an original location in Rockwall, Texas, and that one has been open for a year and a half or so.
Cool. Well, it's a really cool place.
Thank you
I dig it. We appreciate you guys having us in here today. What you got there?
So we brought out some of our signature snacks that we really think highlight what we do here. And so, we want to be a sports bar for sure, but also, elevated food, but still within the sports bar range of things. So
Right.
we have a smoked brisket devil egg with our candied jalapenos. We have our, these are chicken and cheese stuffed jalapenos that are wrapped in bacon, and then they're barbecue glaze. And this is a giant 10-ounce pretzel, and we have a couple of accoutrements with it. We've got this honey herb butter, beer cheese, and a little bit of a spicy mustard that goes with that as well.
Can I tell you something?
Yes, sir.
I myself imbibed in these stuffed jalapenos here earlier today,
Oh, awesome.
and I found them to be quite good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's definitely a labor of love. We smoke the chicken breast, and then we shred the chicken breast, and then that gets mixed in with all the cheese mixture, and then they have to clean the jalapenos, keeping the two sides together so that we can then stuff it with the chicken cheese mixture, and then we wrap them in bacon, smoke them again, then they get picked up in the fryer so they get nice and crispy, and then we glaze them with a barbecue glaze. So,
Cannot recommend them enough.
yeah, definitely
And
a labor of love.
I live here in the hood. It's not far at all, so I will be back, and I will be
Absolutely.
back looking for more of those,
Yeah,
if that's
yeah,
all right.
Absolutely, anytime. And so we have our grand opening October 3rd. So
You haven't had your grand opening yet?
No, we let the cooks kind of get our feel, and let the
Okay,
staff get
okay,
a feel
I
of what's
see.
going on first, so that we make sure we roll out with our
That you do it right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So October 3rd, and there'll be stilt walkers in here, and there'll be a miniature Highland cow, and a whole bunch of fun stuff going on. So it'll be a really, really neat party.
October 3rd,
Yes,
huh?
sir. 5:00.
I like a good party.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be if there's one thing that my business partners know how to do is throw a party. So
Those are the kind of partners you want to stay in with.
yeah, yes,
Stay
sir.
in good.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Well, we appreciate you having us in here
Yeah, my
today,
pleasure.
man.
Awesome.
And thanks for the
Yeah,
thanks
we
for
got a little
the grub.
snack for y'all.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you do have a little
Awesome.
snack for us. I don't know if I want to eat on camera, but
It's okay. I understand. So,
afterward, why not?
yes, sir. 100%.
All right.
Awesome.
You guys need to check out Dudley's here.
Thank you.
Dudley's is a pretty cool, comfortable, awesome place, I must say.
Awesome. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, man. All right. So that's a little left turn for YDC. The first time we've ever had to do a live spot. All right. If Craig and Erin haven't left here yet, let's resume here.
We're just waiting to come back on so they can eat with you.
Oh, it isn't.
You
Okay, well they can dig in. Huh? Like I say, I did that earlier today. So,
I was busy.
so I will just I'll just watch for right now.
I have no such proclivity, about
I
not
know.
doing that.
Okay, first of all, these look like egg rolls. She's like, no, they're jalapeno poppers. I'm like,
Yeah.
there ain't no popping about them. I
No,
mean,
they're jalapeno poppers, but there's no popping.
there's no popping in them. Yeah. What do you?
But they're good. They're good. I really
They
did have some
look-
of those earlier
They
today.
look
They're
phenomenal.
excellent.
I'm
The-
stealing one of the egg
The deviled
bites.
eggs are outstanding.
Yeah. What? Okay. In order, top three, like of what we got here, the assortment.
Jalapeno. That's the top three for me.
My
'Cause
guy.
I'm not a big
My
egg guy.
guy. I love spicy. I love hot. That's phenomenal.
It is, isn't it?
And we're back. Yes. That.
Isn't that one of the great things that we used to enjoy a lot was
My
the
fingers.
media meal? That was
yeah.
a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
And we go into the media dining room at Arlington Stadium, or what is now Choctaw, what you famously dubbed the Temple, when it was Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. And
He did the essay for it, by the way, for Fox. It was great.
yeah,
You did.
absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
It was wonderful.
And
Came together in about 3 minutes.
You pulled a Craig Way then. Where's Sham when we need him to be like, I don't work? No.
so it was great in those days when he would do even the dynamics on a lot of that stuff with the media meal has changed now. First of all, most professional teams and even some college teams, they charge
Oh, yeah.
for them now, which
yeah.
they
For
used
media?
to not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've come to expect it,
Yeah.
The only time I'd ever experienced that was state championship.
You go in that press box up there and
Jerry, who's hurting for money, right, would have a half-price concession stand up there conveniently for the meeting.
right.
I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like a poor kid out of college, and I'm paying like, $8 for like a little thing of popcorn or something. So
yeah, it's that dynamic has changed over time.
that's when you get in with the food people, right? That's when you kind of make friends with the people that can kind of like hook you up with a little, I had to learn. I had to learn how to do that for some food along the way, Mike.
Well, at Arlington Stadium, there used to be guys who had media credentials who would come up there to eat, and then they'd leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gone.
Really?
They were there to eat free and only eat free. They could have cared less about the game.
Now, and I will say this, and I think Mike will agree with me. There are a lot of times when that media meal was better than the quality of the baseball that was going on the field.
Oh, many times.
Many times.
Many times.
But that, be that as it may.
So then I can't really blame those that might.
Well, I started saying I couldn't abide just going there eating and then leaving. I had to stay and watch some baseball.
No, I never did that either.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say I never did that.
Yeah, neither did I.
I was always very eager to accept the food, but if I was going to accept the food, then I was going to accept the level of baseball, which most of the time was not real high, that was going to be played before me that night.
How did you, over all the years of living here in the Metroplex, and all of the, and if we're being really honest, bad baseball you saw for decades. Decades.
Yeah.
Bad baseball. And I would think about guys like you and obviously the great Eric Nadel, the voice of the Rangers, and how great it was when they finally broke through in '96 to win a division title, and obviously all the years later finally winning a World Series. How you were able to compartmentalize the frustration and disappointment and continue to go out and continue to support.
This probably goes back to my early days as a sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to the arrival of football, pro football, in our fair burg, where we woke up one morning and went out to the front porch to bring in the morning paper and find out that overnight somebody had left not one but two pro football teams on the front porch. One of those teams was not good. The other team was okay, pretty good. There was a team in their division that was better than they were, but they were okay. Work around them, and they're going to win most of the games they played. And 2 years in, they finally got him a good quarterback, and the next thing we knew, they were going to the AFL championship game. Not only were they going, they were winning it. So at the age of 12, I had a championship. Now, it didn't really bother me that much. Well, yeah, it did bother me too, but it was kind of odd that probably about 3 weeks after winning that championship, they made it known that they were leaving, that they were moving, which I didn't understand. And my dad wouldn't explain to me because he said I was a kid and I wouldn't understand these things, which he was probably right about that. But that was my first real brush with a sports high and a sports low here in town. Did I?
Yeah.
Did I answer your question there?
Yeah, absolutely. And the Dallas Texans became who we now know as the Kansas City Chiefs. And the other pro football team was really bad for a while.
Oh, yeah.
The Cowboys were not good.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the documentary on the? There was a lot I didn't know because again I didn't grow up here.
Well, we were living it at the time.
Yeah,
and
I was going to say.
It's interesting. The Saturday Night Massacre news conference, February 25th, 1989. I actually anchored our coverage of it on KRLD because Brad Sham, was at his nephew's bar mitzvah in Chicago.
Oh, gosh.
Now, what he did do was get to a payphone, and we had a dial-up number, and he listened to the whole thing. And I'm anchoring our coverage, but even though I'm anchoring our coverage, I did not see 1 second of it because we had that studio there at Valley Ranch. So I was in the studio where it had the broadcast line to the deal, and I had somebody tell me, hey, it's getting ready to start, and they would break in at KRLD and say, now we're going to bring you this news conference. And so then I just shut up for a while, and Jerry did the talking, obviously, and Tex Schramm and all that, and it was going on. And I know, and I saw this in the documentary. I couldn't agree more, and I bet you were thinking the same thing. It all seems so weird and surreal. Is this really happening? That this guy is coming in and turning the world upside down in terms of, even with the Cowboys having the struggles that they had, they're in '88 going 3-13. Brad later did a commentary on it, and he said everybody knew that change eventually would have to come, but nobody wanted or expected it to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this, and it was shocking. It was disruptive.
Should I look for appearances from you two in this?
You won't see. Like I said, I was back in the studio. You won't see
it,
me.
But I'm like, I know John Radigan has had a few. There have been a few Radigan sightings on this thing.
The local TV guys are all over it.
Okay.
Back then. Jerry Orr is all over it. There's lots of guys that are all over it on that. I was not.
Yeah.
On that.
The crazy thing about it is that, that was like 20 years into the Cowboys' existence. Actually, it was over 20 years into the Cowboys.
It was almost 30.
It was almost 30.
29 years.
It was almost 30 years into the Cowboys' existence. They had never been sold before. And maybe you too, were kind of conditioned to think that nothing like that could ever happen to the Cowboys.
Yeah. And part of that was the whole America's team motif and all that kind of stuff. It was like they were in this exalted place, and you didn't, for richer, for poor, for better or worse, whatever it was going to be, you didn't expect the Cowboys to fall into that category. But it was going to take something that disruptive, that shocking, that completely different in the person of Jerry Jones to completely blow up that model.
Yeah. Now they had been sold once already to Bum Bright.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But Bum Bright was a very hands-off owner. He was like Clint Murkison, the original owner.
The only thing you knew about him was he was an Aggie and he did not like Tom Landry.
Yeah.
That was the only thing you really knew about him.
And I'll bet Tex Schramm's life during that period of time was very, very interesting.
Yeah, had to be.
Yeah.
But what I gathered, it would be hard not to like Landry, right? Wasn't he just kind of universally beloved?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Well, respected at least. I mean, there were a lot of people, and this came out in the documentary, and I remember this. There was a fan poll after the 3-13 season of '88. And the fan poll, I think the Dallas Morning News did it, was, should Tom Landry be fired? And most of the fans said yes. But the way it went down is what freaked out so many people.
It's wild to me to think there are kids today that are like, the Cowboys were once good. Like they weren't born back when they were having the success they were, the Super Bowls. I mean, there's a whole generation that has no idea that they were once good. They haven't lived it yet.
Here's something to keep in mind. To your point, they went 29 years with Tom Landry as the coach, won 2 Super Bowls, and had been to 5 in 29 years. There has been 29 seasons since, and they've been to 3, won 2.
It's wild.
And then lost in 95 and haven't been back since 30 years ago, 1995. So
it's like my Huskers. So I'm a very loyal sports fan, if nothing else. If you look at all my teams. No.
But it was going to take something revolutionary to blow it all up, and that's what it ultimately became, unfortunately, in that respect. Now, after the turnaround and they won the 2 Super Bowls, it was back in that kind of exalted place, but then it slowly, kind of withered away.
Yeah, after they won 2 Super Bowls, Cowboy fans kind of fell back into that vibe of thinking, well, this is going to last forever.
That's right.
And, these days in sports, nothing lasts forever.
And you guys were in your, if not infancy, certainly your youthful days at the Ticket when it was first started out.
We were.
And when you started, it was right on the heels of them winning the back-to-back Super Bowls,
right?
And then going to the one in '95. So it was a monster that fed itself media-wise and fan-wise as well.
It was a wonderful stroke of timing for the ticket.
It was.
Sure.
I was going to say, no shortage of content. I mean,
Yeah.
that was gold.
Oh, yeah.
Well
I mean, of all the things that worked out right for the ticket back then, and believe me, there were a lot of them. There's a phrase up there called ticket luck, and we definitely had ticket luck on many different occasions over the years.
Yeah, and I will also say this. You guys were ready for the luck to happen. The old Coach Royal, Darrell Royal thing about luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity came and you guys were prepared for it,
we
and
were.
that's when
We were.
it took off.
We were, but there were a lot of things that worked out right that just drove people to us. Unfortunately, once they were driven to us, they kind of stayed.
Yeah, there was some serendipity, no doubt.
There was.
But you guys were prepared for the challenge, and that's why it took off the way it did.
Yeah.
When did you two know you wanted to do this? Like, did you do you remember a vivid moment when you were like, I kind of want to, like, could I do that for a living?
I came to it a little bit later in life than most people did. I spent a lot of years playing music and thought I was going to do that, but I kind of burnt out on that, looked around for something to do, and I thought this would be something neat to pursue, but the only thing was that I was not very well cut out for it at all. I didn't have a lot of the things that they were looking for. I wasn't good looking enough to get on TV. I had a really weird voice with a really weird accent.
Okay, that's hard to believe.
Well, believe me.
I've seen it. I've heard
it
it.
was
It's
pretty-
great.
Is he being like
No,
Modest over here.
I am
Oh, you're
absolutely.
saying it was
and
weird.
he had a fro.
Yeah, I had a
You
fro.
did.
I did.
It's in. I'll show you stuff that
I thought you were being. I had a weird voice. I'm like, Mr. Modest. Ashley's like, no, it was weird, and he had a fro.
Fro.
Yeah, I mean,
Ashley glasses.
if you could have heard,
us grounded.
if you could have heard some of the first
Right.
tapes, the first times my voice was on tape, then you'd see what I'm talking about.
we need this footage. We need the sound.
I was 14 when I knew, because I was a freshman in high school, and this was kind of ahead of its time. 1974-75 had its own closed circuit TV studio, and we produced a live newscast, 30-minute newscast in
high school?
homeroom. It was actually started like in the middle school was be like 7th, 8th, 9th, even though your 9th grade counted as part of your high school record. But it was actually started at Jamestown Junior High, and the 9th graders got to do this. And I auditioned for the sports anchor job and got it. And so we did this sportscast. Newscast, a 30-minute newscast, news, weather. We had a couple of special reporters, and I was the sports anchor. 30 minutes in homeroom from 8:30 to 9 every day. And then when we got to the spring, we got ambitious and said, let's do some play-by-play. So we televised the championship game of the homeroom basketball tournament.
Oh my God!
And that was my first play-by-play at age 14, calling Mr. Busick's homeroom beating Miss Unger's homeroom 21-14 in the championship game. That was my first play-by-play, and I was hooked then. Spring of 75.
Wow. See, I knew he would. Yeah, he would be like, well, I was eating a steak medium rare when the moment hit me. He's so detailed. I love it. He remembers it like it was yesterday.
He's incredible like
Yeah.
that. I mean, ever since I've known him, and I've known him since we were both quite a bit younger, shall we say?
Yeah, right.
He has always been that way. I mean, this guy has a memory and a retention of detail ability that are like few others.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Now, I make it weird enough for everybody. You guys don't have to make it weird, too. I mean, that's me. I understand.
I'm here for the weirdness. So you know me. I'm like, okay.
Nobody's ever had to talk me into the weird.
Yeah. I was going to say.
But anyway, that's how it started.
Yeah.
And then from there, I kind of followed it and got into it, interested in it from there. Exactly.
Now, what about you? What drove you to where
you were a volleyball player, right?
Okay, well, he was doing newscasts like in middle school. Like my sister and I were doing them like in our basement with our old. Do you remember like the old VHS camcorders, the big honking camcorders? We'd take my dad's camcorder. We'd do our own little newscasts in our basement. So it was nothing like what Craig was doing. I was not getting that sort of experience, but I always wanted to be a writer. I loved writing. I still love writing. Like I would love to write a book someday. That's like on my bucket list. If you know anyone, guys, let you know. Although that takes a lot of work.
Erin needs a ghost author.
I'm also Squirrel, mom brain. I loved writing, and then I think in college I realized that I could study broadcast journalism and still write. Writing is really the basis of anything in this field, right? Advertising, PR,
Sure.
whatever it may be, but make myself more versatile. And I'm glad I went that route because, as you guys know, versatility is kind of what keeps you in this game these days, right? You gotta
these days for sure.
You gotta adapt. I mean, look at you. Like you said, you never thought. I mean, you probably thought you were gonna be doing the ticket for you'd retire, and that would, you thought that. I mean, think about it. When you're in, okay, but seriously,
you did kind of do that.
Yeah, I did.
When you're in certain chapters, like you think like, oh, this is gonna last forever, and then when it doesn't, you're like, oh, you turn around and look back, you're like, oh, I pivoted, and like I was okay.
Which launches which launches the reinvention.
There you go.
At that point.
Like change can be good, right? Like having,
It's what you make it.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. It's what you make it. If you make change good, then change will be good for you, and you will benefit from it. If you don't, then other more dire consequences will happen, and they won't be as much fun.
Not as much fun.
Well, I'm getting the signal that we are about to wrap things up here. Man, I cannot thank you two enough for this.
This is fun.
This was wonderful. This is so much fun.
I'm going to come back and just sit in the studio audience and watch future
can we
shows.
be your new live studio audience? No, I can't thank you enough for having us. Again, it's an honor for me just to be sitting here with you two, because you're icons and mentors for me in this game. So I appreciate y'all.
Well, you were great yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, it's just been. I didn't know how this. I will tell you, I didn't know how this was going to go here today, because Craig and I know each other well enough to where we could really drill down on sports and do nothing but that.
And this is from a guy. And listen, we haven't seen each other face to face in years.
Years.
I know, which is why I felt like the third wheel today. I told groups that. I'm like, am I third wheeling right now? I should have just been over here like snacking, like again, listening to y'all. Don't mind me. Again,
you guys talk about the Rangers. I'm going to have another devil day.
I was gonna say, you talk about the weird. I'm like, let me bring that. I'm good. That's my lane. Okay. No, but so thank you for thank you for tolerating me today.
Well, I will have either one of you back individually or together any old time.
That'd be
great.
great.
It's been great.
I'm in.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Becca. And thanks to this wonderful establishment of ours for having us in here today. It has been a blast. Now, let me tell you, if you were out there on the other side of this and you like what we do here on YDC, then what we need you to do is like us and share us amongst your friends, because that will spread the word. And, doing that kind of thing means everything to those of us who swim in the waters of the podcast around here. And while you're at it, if you want to write a review and leave it up on Apple Podcasts or, I don't know, wherever you get your podcasts, as they say, you can do that too. We will take that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. We love you. Bye.
All right. I'm going to go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.